Hey guys, it's me and I'm back for another YouTube video. How you guys doing? As you can see, I'm wearing my Star Wars Bohemian Rhapsody inspired shirt. This is the one and only time I'm wearing this before I cut the picture out and stick it to the back of a jumper I like. And before the video starts, please don't say that I'm biased towards the dark side. Because I own both textbooks, The Jedi Path and the Book of the Sith, but you're right. I'm biased towards the dark side, just a bit. So yeah, let's get through to episode 2 of Let's Talk Fandom series. Now, this episode is all about Star Wars, episodes 1 through 9, plus the spin-offs and the TV shows. So massive spoiler warning if you haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet, because I am going to be talking about that in this video. So, let's get started. Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Unlike other people, I share an unpopular opinion that is now becoming a little bit more popular. I like the prequels. I grew up watching the prequels. They were released around the time, when I was younger, and because I'm a 2003 baby, and that's, I was born in that time of the prequels. I grew up watching the films, and I don't see anything wrong with them. But it's probably because I did grow up in the time when they were coming out, and obviously, the older Star Wars fans are more biased towards the original trilogy because they remember watching it when it first came out in cinemas. I'm biased towards the prequels, and I also really like the sequel trilogies. My favourite characters, I have a favourite character from light side and one from the dark side, so there isn't much bias. My favourite character from the dark side is Ben Solo / Kylo Ren, and my favourite character from the light side is Poe Dameron, which I hope he gets his own spin-off movie because that'd be something I want to see. Anyway, episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I love that film. It sets up something so, important in the Star Wars canon, yet I have one problem with it. I don't fully understand why they couldn't have kept Qui-Gon just a little bit longer, and I kind of feel that if Qui-Gon didn't die and he ended up training Anakin like he said he was going to, maybe Anakin would have done a bit better with fulfilling the prophecy, but that's just, my opinion, and other people have that opinion as well. Okay, overall, I like episode 1. It's good at setting up the story. Okay, episode 2, I can't remember the name of it. I'm really bad at this. Okay, it's Attack of the Clones. I was thinking Attack of the Clones, but then I was thinking Clone Wars in my head, and I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I have all the DVDs, by the way. Attack of the Clones, again, good film. Anakin was a bit in that film. I don't really... he was a bit whiny. But some of his iconic lines come from that film, so I can't really say much. And also, the greatest Star Wars meme in history comes from that film, so who am I to complain? Again, it's a great movie. I just think they could have done a little bit more with Anakin's character. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It's my favourite Star Wars film from the prequels. I love it. Hands down, I love Revenge of the Sith. I love the way that they told the story of the becoming Darth Vader. It just gave so much more depth to the character of Anakin, and I loved it. I don't know if you can tell, Anakin's my favourite character from the prequels. But it gave him so much depth, and, actually helped the audience see a little bit into the, hang on, is what the Jedi doing actually the bad thing? And is the dark side trying to restore the galaxy? And you know, a little bit biased, but still, you know, I see where he was coming from. I mean, the Jedi, the rules that they follow are really kind of stupid and unjust, and I feel like they could have done something better, especially with, you know, not having the kids around their mothers when, at the age they are, when they get taken in to be trained as Padawans. That's when they most need their mothers. That's when they need the emotional comfort of family. And they don't get that at the Jedi Council at all. So I agree with Anakin's viewpoints. I mean, you know, it's understandable after you've watched the entirety of Star Wars. You see where he was coming from all of this time. And I don't know, it sheds a whole new light on what the Jedi are doing. That's enough about episode 3. Episode 4, A New Hope. I need to like double check the titles before I start talking. A New Hope. A great film. I mean, it was the first ever Star Wars film to come out, and it did good. I mean, it set up a brilliant story, and, you know, would go off to be a box office hit, you know, time and time again. Overall, it's a really, really good film and does so well with the setting up of what happened, you know, these, 19 years after Darth Vader became, you know, and Luke was, you know, taken to Tatooine, and what happened to Obi-Wan? Did he just disappear, or what happened to him? I mean, it answered so many questions that at the time of the film being released, people didn't know existed, and once the prequels occurred and they watched episode 4, all of their questions were answered in that film, and it was perfect. The casting is amazing, and I just love it. I love the original trilogy. I love all of them equally. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Again, another good film. And again, for the time that these films were being released, the effects are brilliant. I mean, you look back at them now and it's like, oh, that's a bit tacky, but if you look back at the budgets they had and the resources they had too, everything was very limited, and, you know, it's a good film. I love it. It's brilliant. I mean, like all of the original trilogy films, they did so well with this story that they were given by George Lucas. Round of applause to 20th Century Fox / Lucasfilm, you know, / anyone who worked on this film. And of course, Return of the Jedi, episode 6. This is where, you know, we meet some of the cutest. We meet the Ewoks, and they're the cutest things, and I love them so much. And they eat stormtroopers, and I love them so much. Again, a really, really good film for Star Wars, and it tied up the trilogy really, really well. And for ages, it left people thinking that it was going to be the last Star Wars film, episode 6, the final Star Wars film, and everybody thought they couldn't top that. And in a way, they were right, because leading on to episodes 7, 8, and 9, they're not as good. But I love them equal. I love all the Star Wars films equally. I don't hate the overall films. I hate aspects of them that made the films not as good as they could have been. But in your head, if you eliminate the bad things in the films, you're left with good films that people worked really hard for. And I loved it. Now, episode 7, nobody knew this was coming. I mean, it was like, hey, there's this new Star Wars coming out, and everyone was like, what is going on? It's a good episode of Star Wars, and it introduced these new characters whilst establishing these old characters that we've known and loved for God knows how many years. And I think, if anything, it was a perfect way to start the final trilogy of Star Wars. I mean, there are a few things I would have changed in it, But overall, I mean, it's a good film. And same with episodes 8 and 9. You know, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, as much hate as they get, I personally think they're some of the best Star Wars films because, I mean, not only did I cry watching both of them, but there's so much emotion just added in. Even if you didn't like the other bits, you must have loved the chemistry created between Ben and Rey and the conflict inside of the two. One in the dark side reaching out for the light, and one in the light reaching out for the dark in the hope of finding what she's been looking for all this time. And episode 8 perfectly encapsulated the inner struggles of a person. You know, what goes on inside of a Jedi. I mean, okay, yes, they could have avoided Luke throwing away his father's lightsaber, but in a way, that's symbolism for letting go of the past. That's the whole, you know, the whole meaning behind the new trilogy. Letting go of what happened before and creating a new hope for the galaxy. Same with episode 9. I love it. It's a great way to tie up the Star Wars films, but yet again there are a few questions that are left unanswered which could be answered in spin-off films. But that's all I'm going to say on the main Star Wars films. If you have anything you want to say about them, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're just going to make a quick detour to the TV shows, the animated TV shows that we know and love. I grew up with the Clone Wars. Brilliant TV show. I love it to bits. I want to start rewatching it and rewatching it. I love the story it created, and it allowed the people to see what happened in between the few years in between episodes 2 and 3, and it was perfect TV show, and the film really good. And I don't know if I'm right or not, but I'm pretty sure we're getting a new Clone Wars film, which would be perfect. I love the Clone Wars show. If they could revive it in any way possible, they should do it. It really did shape a lot of things in so many people's childhoods. I talk to people, my friends now, about the film, like the Clone Wars film and TV show, and we're like, that was our childhood, man. You know, it was perfect. I mean, looking back on it now, the animation style's a bit but that's what made it unique. And that's what we all love about the Clone Wars. And in the end, it's way better than Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars Rebels is the kind of sequel, I guess, to the Clone Wars, and it's like in-betweeny films, and I don't know. I feel like if it was full of established characters, I think it could have been better, because the problem with creating the show is that they established these new characters with diverse backstories that never get visited again in the films, yet the two TV shows are canon. I don't know, the Star Wars Rebels kind of confuses me. It's a great show with some really good writing. If you can watch it, do it. It's a good show, and it even makes nods to the Clone Wars, and Ahsoka Tano is even in a few episodes. Worth a watch. Now let's talk about the bit of a disappointments, which are the Star Wars story films. Now, Rogue One wasn't too bad. It, let people, it gave people a bit of backstory that happens before in, episode 4, which is brilliant. But it wasn't necessary. They could have covered that in a book or a TV show, which they kind of did. Same with Solo. Nobody wanted the backstory for Han. That's what made Han so perfect as a character. Nobody knew his backstory. Nobody wanted to. He was just the best fighter pilot in the world, and that's all he needed to be. So I feel like Solo was a bit unnecessary. Some films that they should create backstories. They should make a Kenobi film, although I think they're doing a TV show, and one about Poe Dameron. They're films that people want to see. you know, if they took more suggestions from the fandom, they would find so many intricate ideas and, you know, potential things that could happen in Star Wars. I don't know, I feel like the Star Wars story films are a bit of a missed opportunity with creating this extra, you know, information that the audience can really get behind. But overall, Star Wars is such a motivational fandom, series, creation. It tells people to not give up. You know, it tells people that no matter when something is wrong, you can always make it right and fight back twice as hard as you got hit. It's a way of telling everyone that no matter what, you're going to be fine, because the Force is with you. And that's all it needs to be, I guess. I don't know if there would be any more talk about Star Wars. If there is, no matter what day of the week it is. Well, if it's a Monday, which I don't know if it is, let me look. I'm just thinking of May the 4th, which is a Monday. May the 4th is a Monday this year, so Star Wars video coming on May the 4th. And if I missed anything in this video, I'll cover it in that video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to attack that like button with your likes, and comment down below what you like about the Star Wars series and what you don't like. Who's your favourite character? What's your favourite weapon? You know, that kind of thing. Who's your favourite character? Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, please let me know in the comment section down below. That'd be much appreciated. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well down below, and hit the notification bell next to it to get notified every time I upload a new video, which is every Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you all so much. Bye bye.
But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the